Okay, go!
So the first thing you have to do is put your name in. So it can be anything you want. So just put it in. And then you press continue.
Yeah.
Okay. You then choose your joint setup. So for this one, we'll do fillet. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You can then choose your material.
Yeah.
Got to toggle in with the joystick. So we go for mild steel. If the green button doesn't work, the select button will be the way to continue going forwards. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's either or. Normally this one will flash. If it's not showing anything, then select will be the one. Choose your plate thickness. Thick. And then you choose your process by changing on this dial here.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we're doing MIG welding, I'll go for spray. You then have to set your machine to how the table's set up. Okay. So where the pin goes in is the number that you choose.
Okay, which is, what is it at the minute?
At the moment, the bottom one is on 3, the next table up
It isn't 9, is it?
9, yeah.
So that's fine. And then you change the rotation.
Yeah.
to B.
So this obviously the answer lies
Yep.
in A, B, and C, so it's on B at the moment. And then the rotation of the coupon, like that. Okay.
Okay,
So
yeah.
once that's married up to how it is here, then you're good to go. Press continue, and all this is saying, are you happy with how you set it?
Okay.
Ready to continue? Yeah, that's fine. Then choose your background, again using the joystick. Continue, and then you have to set your gas flow, and then your parameters. So every single weld is set to a procedure in the book. So we're doing a 2F fillet on 9mm plate, and so it says here 90-10 gas.
9 to 10.
90-10. So you press select, and then you go up to between 12 and 19 litres a minute. That's fine. You're going to continue. You then have to set your volts and amps. So 9.5 meters a minute. So that's it. If you haven't set it right, it won't let you.
So go back.
No. So you
Oh,
have
so you set it on here.
9.5,
Okay.
and then 26.5 volts. So where are we? 2F in it. 9.5 meters a minute. 26.5 volts.
Yeah.
And the other thing to check is your polarity. So for DC positive. Now if you press it, there you go.
Okay.
If you get stuck because there's so many different ones, you end up reading the wrong one, you put the wrong information in. Like I told you on the phone, is if you got it wrong, so we're doing a fillet, spray. That's how it's set up. Yeah, that's fine. You can't remember the flow, you can't remember you can't get it right. All you do is you turn the key to the right, 90 degrees, press the green button, and it bypasses all that setting.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, and it sets it for you then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but you can't. There's not a setting for every volt, every 0.1 of a meter per minute.
Mm.
It's just if you set it right, you set it wrong, and it will let you weld or it won't. So
Okay.
now it's set, and it's just done it for you. Okay.
Is there any difference in the finish that you'll see if it's...
Yeah. So when you're on the thinner material, it'll be like dip,
Yeah.
short up. When you're on this stuff, it's spray, and so you get the different transfer types.
Okay.
Mm.
And that's the difference in choosing the thicknesses.
Right. Should be right, it's got that. It's got everything in it. So.
You do a weld.
What with the camera?
Yeah.
Can do. Got to be careful because I haven't got the case, it's all fluffy in there. Case broke in Germany. So have you still got that green tinge inside the helmet?
It's not as bad as it was actually.
But it's there.
It's still there
Yeah.
a little bit, yeah. So then you do a weld. Okay. So once you've completed a weld, can then use these arrows to toggle through the different screens.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can rotate it.
So you have this. Yeah, you can rotate
It's good, isn't it?
by pressing select. You can then pan left and right. And it just shows you the next one that's coming up. So I press select, I can zoom in and out. So on the rotate, you can look at your leg lengths and things like that. Okay. Press the next one, you get to the scorecard. Okay. There's grading on 5 criteria: your position, your contact tip to work distance, your stick out basically, your work angles, and travel speed. What you're aiming to do is get them all along this red line, and then you'll get 100%. If you press green, and then gives you a score for each of them, and then an average. Okay. I'll just do another. Okay. These lines are your upper and lower tolerances. So when you come out of these, you start to get defects. So here, my stick out has gone long. As you can see, I've got porosity, and it tells you down here what defects you've got. So you would get lack of fusion, porosity, and excess spatter. So for someone that's not really welded, not really sure what these things mean, you've also got a theory button. So you press the yellow button, and then it explains what all these different things are.
Alright.
So they're like, okay, what is this CTWD? Explains it. Okay, well, my CTWD was too long, I've got porosity. What's porosity? Explains what porosity is, so people can, they can learn it themselves. And it's the idea of getting instant feedback. So they look here, okay, what have I done wrong? What's the consequence of what I've done? So rather than them coming to you with a bit of flame going, what's wrong? And you're like, could be one of a million things. It tells you definitely. So you've got too much spatter because your arc length was too long, and you've got porosity again because your arc length was too long. And you might get a lack of fusion because you were going too slow or something like that. So yeah, inside the tolerances, no defects. As soon as you come out, you start getting the defects, and it tells you down here. To get your score, you press N pass, and it gives you your score. Okay, to clear it, press the blue button, clears it.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing to remember is, as I said, everything's set to a procedure. So this is set for 3 passes.
Okay.
So it's because it's a 10mm finish, it's a multi-pass. So you've got passes 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
The key thing to remember is every time you press the green button, it thinks you're on to the next pass. So it's clear. So I haven't even welded. As soon as I press the green button, it thinks I'm ready to do the second pass. So it's thinking not to, every time you do a run, not to keep going like that. If you're going to do multi-runs, make sure you only press it once. And then you can toggle, you go down, you can then go along, and then you're ready to do your next one. Press it again, ready to do the third one. Okay.
So to take it back to your normal screen, then is it just a matter of just going?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So one goes this way, the other one goes that way. Yeah. And then you keep on to reset it. Other things you can add are actions and cues.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
So you got one for stick out, one for angles, one for aiming the joint, and one for travel speed. I'd only recommend one at a time, just because you end up looking at the gun and not at your puddle where you should be looking when you're welding. And also, if you're doing open days, I would definitely have the contact tip to work distance, because people do lose their depth perception, and that tells them where they need to be in terms of how far away. And that's just an arrow on like a set of rugby posts. You can see that nice and clearly, and that at least gives them a gauge of where they are and where they need to be. Okay. For a fillet weld, that's pretty much it. So you've got it recorded, so you've got something to refer to. If you're going to do a butt weld, you can then also do a bend test at the end. We're going to master it again. We'll go fast call line fit out quickly. So again, you can refer to the book, put your amps, volts, gas and all the rest of it in for ease. Turn the key.
Yeah, to override it.
Oh, there you go.
Just quickly.
So the key thing when you're doing you want to do a bend test is you have to make sure you fill the whole joint. Okay, you can't leave. If you leave any gaps, it won't allow you to bend it. Just whatever. Thank you.
What are you doing? Flux cord?
Yeah.
Right, babe. Yeah, not too bad.
So do your first pass, enter, and then you're ready to do your next one.
So that'll take 4 passes on that one, it says.
That's correct, yeah.
1 of 4.
We can also, if you can then clean it as well. Gets rid of the slag. So if you go from
Can't see that very well.
again, clean it, and pass. Third one.
What was that one? Press the white one.
Yeah. So we can see what he's doing.
Sure. There's the fourth one. So now, in theory, press and pass. You can then do a bend test. Okay? So in order to do a bend test,
Action.
you have to fill the whole joint, okay? And then when you're ready to do the bend test, you press the green button. And there you go. So, because effectively it's non-destructive, you can do a root and a face bend. So you get 2 samples, inch from the left and an inch from the right. And then you just press bend. So if you want to do a root, you can do a face. You just toggle in by using the joystick. Root bend.
It's that. That was the bit we had the porosity on there, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And then it'll tell you why it's failed. There you go, 6% porosity.
Yeah.
Go to
Brilliant,
sample
that
A.
is.
Root. And it
I
will,
think that side was a bit better, wasn't it? Right. So,
yeah, I think I'd porosity all the way through it, to be fair.
Yeah.
Lack of fusion. And it, so they're your 2 samples.
So when you've got that porosity and lack of fusion, if you go to theory, will that tell you how to overcome?
So in theory it tells you about the bend test. If you go back to this screen, then theory, it'll tell you. Oh, actually no. So if we go, so the reason we did a root bend, didn't we? That was my first pass. It was, by the looks of things, it's to do with my angles apparently, or something like that.
Pull bead,
Yeah.
undercut.
Yeah, everything's wrong with it. If you then wanted to bend the face as well, you come back out, go back in, and you can go do a face bend on the same. Go on.
Yay!
Even cheers in the other way.
That one work?
Yeah.
Does it share inside the helmet as well?
No, it does a little cheer. It goes, if you've got speakers on, it goes, yeah, well done, and claps. And you also if you have your USB stick in the front,
Yeah.
you can also save the certificate that says, well done, you passed the bend test.
Okay.
That's the other thing, is every time you do a weld, if you have the USB stick in the front,
Yeah.
so if we go out of here, so you see now this is flashing green.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means the USB stick is active and it's reading it. So every time now, if I just press the green button, end pass, it flashes, and now it's saved that weld into the memory stick.
Okay.
Okay, so you forget to put the memory stick in, and you want to save the weld, you press menu, save weld to USB, and again, flashes, saves weld to USB.
Right.
So that's if you forget to put it in, and you're, oh, damn. So you just put it in, save it. So now, but if you leave it in there, every time you press the green button, every time I press the green button, it's there, you go saving it, it's just taking its time. So, green button, actually it'll flash up and it'll save, okay? So that's all you have to do. If it's in already, it'll save every time. If you need to, if you forget, put it in, red button, save weld to USB, okay? Go back out. If you want,
Save the individual's names, so when we go to the school and we're maybe doing it as a competition.
Competition,
So if the settings are already set up and you come out to put the name back in, it should go back to the normal settings. It should be able to
it's
track
just
it,
a normal.
shouldn't it?
it's just normal USB stick. If you're doing an open day, like say you're going to do in a couple of weeks, I wouldn't bother changing the names. I'll just get them welded in and record on a bit of paper. Otherwise, because you're going to have quite a few people, I imagine. You're going to have to go all the way back out, all the way back in, all the way back. And you're
Yeah,
just gonna
might be easier for now, yeah.
Yeah, just rattle through. Just
take the readings off it.
Yeah.
take the name down. If you're in this screen again, if you turn this key to the right, you have what they call instructor mode. In here, you have the weldometer, which is basically like, it's just recording everything you do on the machine. So, total time, the amount of plate, if you want, you can use it as a study to see how much money you would have saved. And like a car, you can trip it, so you can do it every month, and it always has its total for the total time that's been used. Because you've got the updates, you've also got scoring module. Oh, not scoring modules. You've got different tolerance settings. So you have default, entry level, so it's a little bit easier, intermediate, and then advanced. And all that's doing is reducing the tolerances.
Yeah.
So it's just making it more and more difficult. So you have to be more and more steady, more
Yeah.
things like that. And the US Army use it. So they start everyone on entry level. When they get 80% in every category, not just 80% overall, every category, they say, okay, now you go to intermediate. Once they've done that, then they go to advanced. And when they've finished on advanced, then they move them on to the real stuff.
So once that's on there, then that's set.
Oh yeah, the little lock on there means you
Yeah.
can't change it. So you can't, you can
So
try and
how
custom it.
So how do we change it then?
Oh, as in you can't change what's inside it. So just change your tolerances. If I want to choose advanced, select it.
Yeah, so that's the same.
Yeah, and it's I'll tell you that it's on advanced.
Yeah.
If I want to go back to default.
Okay.
Things you can do, I wouldn't recommend it because it's a chore. Is you can customize it. So you maybe, for example, in fillet, the machine says. Next. You want these sort of angles. So this for the second pass, it would be at 60 degrees. You want a 30-degree push angle. Maybe you say, actually, I don't want it to be like that, and you can change it how you would normally teach.
Okay.
It's long-winded and takes a long time, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but at least you know it's there. Other than that,
You know the updates on it, because you said that there was going to be an update for this one.
yeah, I've got that with me. That's in that box.
So how do you update? Is it just a matter of a USB, is it?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Okay.
What's the update for?
It's basically that they were going to add to it, so it's got a lap joint on it. And
Oh,
then,
okay.
Then it's not ready yet, basically. So rather than getting yourself confused and using it, just get rid of it when it comes available. Reinstall it. That's the only. So the updates that you've got are the different materials, the different hardness settings, and you've got some pulse warning on there as well.
Potentially, could they upgrade this as this machine stands now to do TIG?
Yeah. And that's apparently coming next year.
So we wouldn't have to change all this. It's just an.
I'm sure there might be some hardware upgrade, but
Yeah.
it'd be an additional cost, but yeah, they would be able to come and add this machine.
Yeah. Okay.
It just there's too many of them being sold for them to be like no. You've got to buy a
It's
complete
a
new
lot of money,
machine.
isn't it?
A lot of people will be annoyed, to say the least. Other than what I've shown you, it's all really. Other than that, it's all about practicing using it, getting comfortable
It's
with the
used.
buttons,
It's yeah.
and just knowing what to press when. But yeah, you're right. The screen is not right.
No.
Where and when is your open?
It'll
You're
be
24th.
You're doing it, aren't you, on the Friday?
Yeah, 24th.
24. Oh, I've not. No,
but obviously we need it before that, so we
yeah.
can
What I'm thinking
trial
is,
it and make sure there's no problems. With regards to the speakers, then,
yeah.
is there another power supply somewhere?
These speakers are pants. These are
Okay.
they're American, and it's got American.
Okay.
If you've got your own set, I would recommend using those.
Yeah.
And you just need another plug to plug the speakers in.
Okay.
Yeah, because are they active speakers? You plug those in or just plug them straight into the back?
You need a power. It needs a power supply.
Oh, yeah, it's active speakers.
So we need set speakers for it.
Yeah.
I would recommend. They had American plug, and I think they're 110. I plug them in
Yeah.
once and it went back.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it's in the plug. Yeah.
That's another thing maybe you were interested in is back on that instructor menu in your options, you can change the sounds. So you can hear it on the screen, and when you have speakers, every time you move around to select a different thing, it makes a clanging noise. If that annoys you, you can turn it all the way. You can hear it there. Turn it down.
Ah.
I'd always have the welding sounds as high as I can because it helps.
Yeah.
But if that gets annoying, you can just turn it on to 0 and you might hear them ever again. Yeah, that's just what
Just used in Scott, getting used to it.
I think
For
it's
the
too bad
Friday.
actually. No. Now
Yeah.
we know what we're
Yeah.
doing with
It's a
it.
question of having to play, isn't it?
So we need to go by the book, obviously, for settings as well.
Unless you override it with
Yeah.
the key.
So you know, if you override it, for the person that's using it, is there any difference to
Absolutely.
getting it exactly right?
No.
So that, for now, that's
But don't forget that's part of an assessment for experienced users,
yeah.
rather
Yeah.
than doing it that way, by knowing their settings, by remembering the settings.
Yeah.
But for for mere novices, they're not going to know that anyway.
No. So if you're showcasing it,
Yeah,
fast
you
track's
just wouldn't
alright.
use it.
There you go, there's a new book for you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Shiny.
Oh, we'll keep one for the on the road and keep one here.
Are they exactly the same?
Yeah.
I think that might have a bit more in it, it looks thicker to me.